Friends, how are you? I welcome you to my YouTube channel Pritam's Academy, the educators. I am Pritam and I am uploading videos for 9th and 10th standard English medium students for English, history, geography and other subjects too. So today I have brought a new topic for you in English 10th standard. First poem, that is Where the Mind is Without Fear. So let's begin. Today I am going to concentrate upon the poetic appreciation of the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear. But before beginning with the poetic appreciation, I would like to explain the poem. Let's begin with about the poet. The poet of this poem is Rabindranath Tagore. He was born in 1861 and passed away in 1941. He was the author of Gitanjali and its profoundly sensitive, fresh and beautiful verse. He became the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali and that he himself translated into English. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology, Gitanjali. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the British. In this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to God for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. See, this information is provided in the textbook, so few things are we have to remember. First is his anthology Gitanjali, for which he got the Nobel Prize and he was the first non-European to get Nobel Prize in 1913. Then we have to talk about the background of the poem, that he has appealed to the God not only for political freedom but also for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. So we have to notice this, that this poem was written before 1947 and it has a background of independence movement. So let's begin with the poem. I will read first. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. So I will explain the poem in short, then we'll see the poetic appreciation. So the poet talks about a place where he wishes his country should born, his country should awake. So what type of country, what type of place the poet expects? So first, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. So nobody should be fearful, everybody should be confident and they should have a dignity, right? Where the knowledge is free, so there will be no restriction in gaining the resources of information. Where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls. So the place should not be like that, where there will be, fragments. The society will be divided into fragments of caste, religion, classes, race, etc. So these caste, religion, races are called as narrow domestic walls. Where words come out from the depth of truth. So how the people should speak there? Truth. There will be no place for the liars. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. So how the people should continuously do efforts? They should do efforts for achieving a goal. And what type of goal? Where there will be perfection. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Now the poet says the logical thinking, the clear stream of reason means good thinking, should not get lost into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Such a place where the old traditions which are very harmful for us are there. Where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. So the poet expects such a place where the mind of the people will be guided by the God for what? For ever-widening thought and action. Ever-widening means progressing, right? Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. And at such place, the poet wishes his country to be awakened, right? Now let's discuss about the poetic appreciation. See, for 10th standard, when we write poetic appreciation, the 4 points are very necessary, for which we have allotted 5 marks, right? So the first point is poet, right? Then second point is the title of the poem. Then third point is the theme or central idea of the poem. Then fourth point is figures of speech. And the last point is, fifth one, why do you like this poem or why do you dislike this poem, isn't it? So we'll take the first point. We'll begin with the title of the poem. So what is the title of the poem? Where the mind is without fear. So is this title very suitable for the poems? Yes. So we should talk about this title is very suitable for the poem because the whole poem begins with the word where and it particularly mentions a place, right? So this information is enough for half a mark, right? Then second is about the poet. So Rabindranath Tagore, about his Gitanjali, then he's being a non-European, first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in 1913, and the background of the poem said he has contributed, he has provided inspiration to the freedom fighters by writing this poem, right? So this information is again enough for the half mark. The next point is about the rhyme and rhythm of the poem, right? So is there any rhyme, rhythm, rhyming scheme in the poem? So you can see this poem is talking about the, freedom. So when we talk about freedom, there is no need of any rules. There is no need of, any restriction of the rhyme scheme. So this poem is written in a free verse. There is no rhyming scheme. And yes, this poem has a rhythm because this poem has begun with the word where. And when we read, we feel the rhythm, right? Then third point is central idea or theme of the poem. When we write about the central idea, so what this poem talks about? This poem talks about the, freedom. So freedom, which freedom? Political freedom, social freedom, educational freedom, etc. So little bit information we have to write here. So what type of freedom the poet has mentioned in the poem? The freedom of knowledge, right? The freedom of, the land, the freedom of superstition. There should be a stream of reason, right? Then the next point is about figures of speech. Are there figures of speech in this poem? Yes. So you can find out there are alliteration in the line, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. So here, the sound is repeated in the same line. So it's a alliteration, right? Now, is there a figure of speech called metaphor? Yes. So when we say into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. So what is the dreary desert sand? So this dreary desert sand is compared with a land where there are old traditions followed. The people believe in superstition, right? So there is a indirect comparison of the land where old traditions are given more importance with the dreary desert sand of dead habit. So these two figures of speech are enough when we write about it. Now the last point is, why do you like or dislike this poem? So normally we write about the liking only. So you'll write, I like this poem because this poem has a rhythm. This poem begins with the word where, and it emphasizes on the place the poet talks about where his country should awake. So this poem was very interesting. We enjoyed it. I'll bring new topics in next videos. So look my videos, like them, and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. Stay tuned with me.